hello. Good evening, y'all. This is the Relock Podcast Show with myself, the host, Michelle Zachary, my co host, Aaron Brown, and our co host, Erica Sloan, is on vacation. So we will see her next week.
Suspended.
Uh, Today, we will talk about relationships and finances. Y'all, we are on YouTube Live. So if you could please go subscribe to our YouTube page. Also, make sure to share with your friends, your families. And hey, mark your calendars early to tune in every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Aaron, so how was your weekend, Aaron?
It was all right.
It was all right. It was all
It was
right.
all right. It was all right. It was all right.
That's good. That's good. I had a
How was
good.
your weekend?
It was good. It was good. Just a lot of moving around, getting ready for my new food trailer that I'm about to open. Probably at the end of the month, weekend next
How's
weekend.
that going?
Oh, it's going a long process, but it'll get there. So, guys, today we will talk about relationships and finances. We will talk about uh, how people do their finances and relationships. So let's start off with Aaron. Let's let you start off about
Excuse
relationships. Oh, bless you. And finances. What is it that you, as far as relationships and finances, how do they go together? Uh, what do
me.
you
First
think?
of all, okay. How do they go together? There's different levels of relationships, but if you're getting to that significant other marriage type relationship, I really think finances are very important, imperative. Number one should be talked about because it can be the end all of your whole relationship when it comes to money. Um, I think when you get into a relationship and you are learning your partner, I think you got to watch how they spend money. And because, there's different styles of either you're a saver or you're a spender. So I think it's important that not only do you get to know that person, but do you get to know their spending habits? I think that's very important. Um, how about you? What do you think?
I also think that it is very important to understand somebody' financial habits when you're entering into a relationship with them. Because as we know that is the number one reason or one of the main reasons that people get divorced or separate out of relationships is because of finances. So I believe that when you meet someone, I think during marriage counseling, or even if you guys are just in a relationship and deciding to get together, it needs to be talked about as far as what the relationship, the finances look like, and how the finances of the household will be divvied up into each person. Um, I think that is one of the main reasons that people separate is because you go into it in the unknown, and the relationship starts to suffer because one or the other or both may have bad uh maybe spending problems, or
Mhm.
or just not good at saving money or things like that. So, or they just do do not handle finances well. So I think it's a major thing to go into the relationship understanding how that works together, and how you guys could work
Yeah,
that.
because I think it's important to be um, evenly yoked, especially when it comes to finances. So, like when I date women and I'm dating them on a serious level, I watch their spending habits,
Uh-huh.
meaning I try to figure out, or I ask questions. What are your financial goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Um, do you have to have the latest purse or the latest wig or the eyelashes? And I know those are some of the things that women want, for their outward appearance. But is it a priority that you have to have name bags and name brand car? I mean, well, I know not name brand, but car, but a high dollar car.
Uh-huh.
Is it feasible with the income? Do you live outside your means? And so that's what I do. I watch and see if an individual I'm dating, one, okay, what kind of job does she have? Two, I mean, is she able to maintain, and is she out here borrowing money from family and friends? Is she living paycheck to paycheck? Um, is she blowing all her money when she gets paid? And what is she buying? Are the lights cut off? Does she not have gas in the car? Um, you go over the house, do they have groceries? I mean, these are like little red flags I look for, before you really get deep into a relationship. Because if you ignore those type of red flags going into a relationship, and this person's not on the same level as you are when it comes to money, spending money, or being responsible with money,
Uh-huh.
have a savings account. What's the credit score like? I mean, what's my life going to be like with you? I think, before you go into a marriage or partnership or a lifetime partner, I think it's very important that you sit down and you discuss these different avenues of money, because money can make it or break your relationship. Uh, I think the key things of when it comes to finances in any relationship, number one, is transparency, and you have to be transparent of what's going on. And then two, the other major part of finances in relationship is compromise. You have to be able to compromise and come to an agreement when it comes to that. Or it's this whole relationship, even though y'all may get along on other levels, it can blow up, especially if you let the money get in the way. Relationship, I really, and then two.
Okay. So I so and when you get into a relationship, is that one of the things that you discuss? Do you think that a man should pay the majority of the bills? Because I hear a lot of people say, well, the man should pay the bigger bills and the woman should pay the smaller bills. Do you think that that should be 50-50, or should the man take on the more larger bills, or do you think the person that makes the most money should take on the larger bills?
I think that old fashioned way of finances have it's outdated. Um, if we don't live in the 40s, 50s, and 60s anymore.
Hmm.
Just as you've seen currency upgrade to Bitcoin and all these other electronic things, and the importance of gold backing money, I really think we need to get out of that mind state of the man should take care of everything. I get it, it's biblical things, but back in the Bible days, they didn't have no $2,000 a month mortgage, car note, insurance. So to answer your question, for me, when it comes to a relationship, number one, I'm more of a 50-50 type of person.
Uh-huh.
But then you adjust it to what the level of money you make. So if I'm in a relationship with a woman, for an example, if she makes more money than me, and I've been in that situation where a woman made more money than me, and when I was married, uh, I we agreed that she would pay the mortgage, and she paid her car note, and I paid everything else.
Okay. So
And
you're
so
basically saying that because she made more money,
right,
you guys made that agreement that she will pay the bigger
right,
bills and you will pay the smaller ones. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I think you have to cater it or tinker it or what's the word I'm looking for? Mold it to whatever your financial um, status is. I think some of that is a little old fashioned and outdated. That the man should take care of everything. I'm gonna tell you now, there's a lot of men out there that feel that way. I honestly feel that way. If I had the income
Hmm.
to take care of everything, I would a woman, but at the same time, she needs to bring something to the table too. You just can't
Hmm.
take your money and go spend it and do whatever you want to do with it. I would rather you take that money, save it. I mean, so like if have a vacation fund for us, let's go on a trip every year, maybe two
Well,
trips.
I don't think that most women just spend all their money if they have a
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
yeah.
if I
Yeah,
were,
but I think that most women do that. I think when the man pays the majority of the bill. Now I'm not speaking for other women because I don't know, but I wouldn't or I don't spend all my money, even though my husband pay all the bills. I don't spend all my money. You know what I mean? I do save it, and we do go on vacations or I buy things for the house to fix it up or stuff like that. So I don't think that, I mean, maybe they do. I'm not sure
no, but
that
I'm
women
saying
consume.
if and I'm just giving you a scenario that would go on for me. So what I'm saying is, if I were paying the bills, what
Mhm.
I would want my woman to be able to do with the money, if I'm not requiring her to paying the bills. I know a lot of men out there that have the income that pay all the car notes, that pay the mortgage, and pay this and that, and you have to make a substantial type of money these days to be able to do that. And the average home in Austin, a brand new home, is going from 300, 350 all the way up to $500,000. And they tell you the mortgage that is around 1%. So
Uh-huh.
you're looking at $2,500 to $3,000 a month just in mortgage. And there's a lot of people out there that don't make $3,000 a month, you know, and can't afford it. It almost takes two incomes just to make it here in Austin. And so, which makes finances, I mean, you're not going to really have a happy home if you ain't got no money. You're gonna be
No,
you're gonna
for
be
real.
bickering, you're gonna be ain't gonna be no groceries.
Well, I think that finance, because okay, you got to remember that, because I hear a lot of people talk about how high the housing market has got, and it has gotten high, but time has to move on. I remember when I bought this house 20 years ago. This house was $100,000. We talking about 20 years. The market has to go up at some point. It's never gonna stay like back when we was buying the houses. They was 100, between 100 and 150, 170, and we thought that was very expensive. But really, a lot of people were paying 12 and $1,300 12, 13, 14 years ago. So when I hear people say, "Oh, the market is high," I'm thinking, not really. Probably should have upped your money a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
don't
time.
agree with that because working for the state, and I hear what you're saying, but
Mhm.
the salaries are not matching the cost of living.
That's why you probably
And
gotta
that's
move
why you
on,
got a lot
gotta
of
move
people
around.
doing Uber, got a second
Yeah,
job. I have two jobs. I live by myself. I
right.
have two jobs. And because of the cost of living is so high, there's over 250 families that move to Austin every day. If you live here, if you live in the Austin area,
Mhm.
Kyle, Buda, San Marcos, Georgetown, Manor, you see all these apartments going up. And see, they're trying to accommodate these people in that just driving the cost of living in Austin higher, which is causing your finances to, I mean, just to get on most of half the highways here are toll. So
Right.
you want to get somewhere, you're just spending money, groceries. I went to HEB yesterday. I spent $89 on fruit. $89. I ain't getting no meat, no nothing. The cost of living finance is if you don't talk and be transparent and compromise with the person that you're in love with, it's gonna cause some problems. And
So that I mean, so I think that's where that's why it is good to have the two incomes, regardless of how you split it, because whether you pay one single total bill that's 2,000 or whether you split it, I mean, you're almost gonna come out the same anyway. You think?
yeah,
I mean, you could pay just one thing, and then the other person pays everything else. I mean, I think to each its own. However, it fits for you. When I first got married, my husband, he just gave me a certain amount of money a month, and I spent it on whatever bills I needed to spend it on. So we had a certain amount that he would give me, and then either I paid the mortgage with it or I paid all the other bills, and then I paid the mortgage with however I divvied it up is what I did. He didn't care. He gave me what I said, and that was it for him. It ain't nothing else given the rest of the month but gifts and other things. He want to do, whether he was buying groceries or whether he went to Walmart and grabbed some toiletries or something. But that one set amount was what I asked for, and that is what he gave. Now, over the time of me, cutting back on working and not working as much, then he picked up everything, that even my stuff. You know what I mean? So I guess it kind of goes with, who or how you really want to do that. But what I hear a lot is that the man should pick up the majority of the bills, and that the woman should not. Like, that's really a man's job. You
I
know what
want
I
to, I want to, I want to hear from the audience out there, and if you're out there watching, please comment and let us know, because I want to know what this consistency of that is. If do women feel that the men should pick up the majority of the tab?
mean?
I disagree. I think it should go on the amount of money you make,
Uh-huh.
and
And I mean, that sounds, I mean, to me, that's logical, or that could make sense too.
mm,
I mean, I grew up, my stepdad paid all the bills, so I kind of was in that motion, but I'm willing to do whatever works for the majority in the house. You know what I'm saying? If it's
and I
50.
think back in the day, the men were getting paid more than women. See, that's what people are forgetting, and that's what they're missing. Back in the day, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, uh,
Uh-huh.
men were getting paid more than women, so they were the automatically breadwinners. I mean, even if me and you applied for the same job back in the day, we weren't going to get paid the same, because
Hmm.
they just paid men more than women. Now it's coming up where women are just getting paid just as much as men, or even more than men. And
Right.
so now it's I think it's a balance. We have to, when you're in a relationship, you have to balance. And then also what I have too, I have 7 tips on how um, to um, balance your money, or when you're in a relationship. So one of the keys that I came up with is number one, when when you're in a relationship, is to have a joint account. And even if this joint account is just to money that you all put a certain amount in,
Hmm.
this joint account just to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? I think every married couple, relationship partner, lifetime partner, whatever they have, should have a joint account. When you have a joint account, you also have to remember, it's not your money, it's not my money, It's our money.
Oh, I don't have a joint account with nobody.
Yeah. To
Yeah,
each his own.
I would never do that.
Even if you put a certain amount in
Mm-hmm.
there, enough amount. So say like your bills are $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You take 1,000, I take 1,000. We
Mm-hmm.
take that money, we put $2,000 into that joint account, and we just pay all the bills out of that, and it covers all our bills. So whatever you have left over is yours, and what I have left over is mine. You can do it that way. Also, number two is learn to compromise. You have to understand if the person you with, are they a spender or a saver?
I think you should figure that out at the beginning of while you're dating them. You should kind of watch those habits. But we're gonna go back to that joint bank account because I see somebody saying, no, I don't believe in joint bank accounts. Trina Wilson, I mean, you give me what I asked for, or I give it to you. Whoever gonna do the finances. In my house, I do the finances. And he gives me, and I don't ask him for nothing else. Trying to be, I don't try to dig in his pockets like that. You know what I mean? But joint accounts is a no for me.
Yeah. It's some people don't want joint accounts. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was married, joint account didn't work for me.
Right.
We would pay the bills. Next thing I know, I'm looking at my account and I'm seeing my money. I'm like, wait a minute, no, give me my.
That's exactly why I ain't got.
give me my card back. You got one time. You got one time with me.
No, for real though. No, I don't do that joint bank account. Trina said exact. No, I don't. I mean, and not for no reason. I don't even want us to have to go there. I don't even that's a discussion that I'm just gonna stay away from. So I'm not gonna even put myself in a situation where something could happen.
But let me ask you that. But you saying that, but wouldn't you want a credit card, a debit card to your husband's account?
Mm-mm.
You don't want that?
No, that's his money. He has his own bank account. I got my own bank account. Like I said, we came up with an agreement. I told him a certain amount of money. That's what he gives to me. And that's the way we do it. I don't want he ain't got no access to my account. I ain't got no access to his. Now, if something happened, we are on each other's account. Like as far as like if something happened to me, he could go over there. But no, I'm not interested. And that to me, it just keeps down the problems because I do be swiping. Hell, I might swipe an extra out, or whatever. So Katrina King said one joint account to pay bills and each to have their own. Yes, some people do that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. I'm not against that. I think it works for some people. Yeah.
So number two is the compromise. You got to understand your partner. Is there a spender or saver? I've been with women that are spenders. They love to spend. And then they don't care. They just spend. I'm a saver. So
you didn't see those bad spending habits at the beginning?
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I did. But
so you saw the red flag, you just kept on moving.
But when we moved in together, okay, for an example, when I'm married, this woman went out and we had just bought a house and she went to what was it called? What's that big old store they renamed it to Home Goods? What?
Garden. It used to be called Garden
Ridge. She went to Garden Ridge. The first day she went to Garden Ridge, and I remember we married, moved into the house. She wanted everything decorated. First day she went to Garden Ridge. She spent $800
at home. Yeah,
it's at home now. She spent $800.
On what? At Garden Ridge?
On decoration.
Well, you know what? But that place, Garden Ridge was a little expensive too. So I can see you picking up about 7, 8, 9, 10 items and it coming out to about, depending on what you get.
That was on Saturday. Sunday, she went back and spent another $500.
Oh.
That's $1,300 over there. And see, I didn't
have no talk with you about them finances.
No.
She just swiped it.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. So I think you have to learn to compromise. You got to understand your partner. Are they a spender? Are they a saver? Me personally, I don't like living paycheck to paycheck. And as a state employee, the thing is, at the beginning of the month, you got to pay all your bills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have the luxury of getting paid twice a month. So as a state employee, you have to pay all your bills at the beginning of the month. And then whatever you have left over, that's what you have left over. So you have to manage that money
Until the following month.
So yeah, but then at the same time, I don't want to be just stuck at home, just can't go anywhere, can't go nowhere, can't go to happy hour on Friday because you done went out and spent all of that.
You know, you goes to happy hour quite a lot. So I think that anybody who get what you need to talk to you about your spend. Because you do hit you be what they say, we outside. Like you be outside, okay?
Well, I got 2 jobs. I
can just imagine. But that's why your ass got 2 jobs, because you stay outside too damn much. I think you need to cut out your outside activity. You need to
got a shoe
down to 1 or 2 weeks. Your ass be out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Funday. God damn, you didn't already spend up half of a rent. On your outside,
I guarantee that my rent is paid, my child support paid, everything paid.
Yeah, I don't care. Listen, and I'm gonna tell you,
whatever else I got,
dog, you be outside. Like you need, like we be going. Okay, Tuesday nights we be going, and then then y'all go to look. Cheddar's on the Thursday. Then you may be somewhere on Friday. Then Saturday you doing all this and shit at some. Then you over here at another after spot, and then after the after spot, you at another after spot. Your ass, whoever get with you, they don't need to be talking to you first. You don't need an expense budget. You need an entertainment budget. Your ass need to get an envelope. You need to put some money in there. And if you spend up for entertainment, your ass can't go out no more. You got a problem.
I manage my money very
somewhere.
I manage my money very well.
Well, I guess so, but I think that a woman, when she meets you, you might need to learn how to do some at-home arts and crafts and shit. Because I think you be outside a little too much.
Okay, then number 3 was understanding the difference in personality when it comes to money.
Are you asking me or are you telling you?
No, I'm just saying that's the tip number 3 is understanding the difference in personalities when it comes to money. Like you said, spender versus saver. Also, you have to agree to compromise to meet in the middle. Just like you were saying that I need to get with somebody that's going to kind of calm me down and my spending. You need to get with a person where you can compromise. Sometimes when people work for their money and they just want, if they feel like me, I feel like I work hard, I'm gonna play hard. But
okay, but then you just say your ex-wife spent $1,300, but she like nice stuff. Yeah. So she want to make the house nice and comfortable for y'all. Y'all new house, you want to feel like home. But you was complaining about the 13.
It wasn't that I was complaining about it.
How much money do you spend in a weekend?
On a weekend?
Yeah. We just gonna say we gonna skip the Tuesday that you go out with us after the podcast. Friday through Sunday, how much money you spend? Because you just say you spent $80 on fruit.
I spent $89.75 last night on fruit.
Okay, so from a Friday to a Sunday, and drinks and eats, what on average, what do you spend? Just throw out a number that you think. I know
over the weekend I might spend $200 to $300, but I don't even think
that's every week. But listen, you outside every weekend. Count that up. You said 300 is the minimum.
No,
200 is the least.
Maybe 200, maybe.
No, I don't believe that.
I'm including because I buy shoes a lot. So I'm including the shoes.
We're not even talking about the shoes. We talking about just being outside.
I'm people to tell you.
Are you telling me that you going to these people's spot and you taking up space and you ain't patronizing these people's businesses? You just up there.
Nope. I have a bottle of water with me.
Don't come to Fancy Fries if I get a place because I don't want your ass over there.
I mean, free or fancy fries.
Yeah. He be making folks dizzy when he going live moving that camera so much. Somebody say you need to stay still.
Yeah, but tell that same person who just said that, quit calling me and ask me what's going on in Austin. And believe
I
it or
don't know
not,
nothing about all
believe
that,
it or
but we
not,
talking about
let
them
me just tell you
finances.
this real quick, Michelle. I have people calling me and telling me and messing me, Aaron, go live all the time.
Why?
Because
You
they
only
want
talking about
they
nothing.
don't want to get from behind the screen and come out and see what's going on.
Okay. Anyways, we're gonna stay on
So
top.
so next thing is number 4, salary differences. You got to understand sometimes the person who makes the most money
Uh-huh.
wants to control everything. And
I don't make the most money and I want to control it.
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm used to controlling everything.
But then it goes back to you have to be able to compromise. You have to understand that even though you make more money or he makes more money, is you got to understand it's your money, y'all's money. It's not his, it's not yours, especially in the marriage. It's y'all one.
Right.
So it's not, it's in the most of the times the people who make the most money want to control everything. And they feel like they should have to say so because they make the salary. And
I
I
don't
don't
know. Let's ask the audience. The
yeah,
audience, do you think that the person that makes the most money wants to control the narrative of the relationship, or do you think that the other person just feels that way because they know that you make more money than them? Can y'all answer that question?
So you saying that you still gonna run the show, Michelle?
I ain't got a penny. I'm
But you
broke.
run the. But do you pay the bills?
No, yeah, I pay them, but I'm broke. I don't have no money.
Wait a minute.
I'm
So
about to
if
start
y'all have separate accounts, how are you paying the bills if you don't have a joint account?
because he gives me the money. He transfers the money in my account.
And so you go and pay the bills.
Yeah. He got work to do. He ain't got time to be paying.
But he give you a set amount. You tell him how much everything is. He don't give you nothing extra over that, right?
I don't ask him for nothing. He does. He does. He give me money
And
all
what
the
you
time.
do with the extra?
I buy stuff for the house, or I keep it, or I just save it, or you know what I mean. I get out and I do a little hustling here and there, little things. But for the most,
do you buy him anything with it?
Yes, I buy my husband all kind of stuff.
You know, y'all women, y'all
hey, listen, this boy, and I'm gonna tell you, my husband, he get expensive gifts. He don't like cheap stuff. We talking about Gucci, real Gucci shoes, real Gucci shades. We talking about 500, 1,200, 900. Yeah, shoes. That little money I be trying to save.
When it comes to
that little money I be saving up, I spend it all on him.
Let me just go on this tangent real quick. Just real quick. Give me a couple minutes. I don't understand, and I'm just trying to. I like name brand stuff. I do. But in the Black culture right now, please, someone out there help me. What is the importance of name brand? Don't get me wrong. I wear name brand. I love Nike.
Well, I don't think everything got a name on it. I think that some people just would rather buy certain things versus other things. Like me, like my husband, he know I love Gucci. He love Gucci too. He will buy me all the Gucci stuff. If he go out there, he'll give me a purse. He give me something, right? Flip-flops. I'd rather go to Target. I go to Walmart. I buy shorts out of Walmart. I buy shirts. Walmart at Norwood Park, they got some cute stuff. I be going to child. Hey, let me tell you something. I be getting some cute dresses. Baby, I love me some Walmart. I love me some Targets. I go to them clearance racks. And I buy stuff from there. Okay. He don't really care for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to buy, we went to we just came back from Orlando. I tried to buy him some swimming trunks out of Walmart. I thought they was cute. They had all kind of beach stuff on them. He was like, I don't want them. We going to the polo stop. Why do you got to wear polo shorts to the beach?
But that's what I'm trying to understand. What is the obsession with Black folks and name brand? I don't get it.
Well, I think a lot of it is because we didn't have it growing up. And so because we like those things that we want them, or if we can afford them, then we buy what we like.
Michelle, that's not
Versus,
true. Michelle, that's not true.
well, that's his truth.
Well, okay, maybe in his truth, but as we were growing up, people that went to LBJ, Reagan, they were all big into fashion. I remember people wearing starched iron jeans, Jordans. The Jordans just this didn't come out. Jordans
Well,
been out.
well,
People
listen to
been
this.
spending $100 on shoes for 30 years now.
Well, you
30
got to
plus years.
remember too, culturally, that's how we were raised. We were raised to look nice. When we go outside, we don't look any kind of way. We dress nice. We were taught that as kids.
But that's the point. The point I'm trying to make is we want to look nice, but then we ain't got nothing in our pocket.
But
and this is what we're talking about.
But that's not true. That's not everybody.
That's not everybody, but that's a lot of people.
Some people in their finances, but that may, I said something to my husband today. Today we went to go get something to eat for lunch, and I said something about him buying some. He bought some. I think the Gucci shoes was $1,100. They were some tennis shoes, and I was like, "Why did you buy those?" And he said, "Oh, because I can't afford them." And I said, "Oh, okay." But you got to remember, he got a wife who hustled too. So we're both able to have money. So his lifestyle that he has with me, somebody who hustles just as hard as he do, so that he can have, we don't have very expensive bills. You know what I mean? So we have the money to buy these things if we want them. Now, I don't, but he does. You know what I'm saying? How about this dude some Jordans? When them cool grades came out, that was $400. I got them because I thought they was cute. Everybody was getting them. I was like, I get him some too for Christmas. He wore them jokers one time. They are brand new. I probably should put them online and sell them.
Because you got $400 sitting in your closet, they ain't doing nothing. Then you got another $1,100. They ain't getting worn every day.
Maybe another
that's $1,500 in shoes.
We're talking about maybe another $400 or $500 pair of $1,100, $1,200, $900 shoes. We're not talking about his size 10 and a half shoe he wear, but his tennis shoes is $200 a piece. It ain't a Nike in there that was under $200 that he got in there. You know, maybe some New Balance or something I got for $89. But every one of his shoes is $100 over, $150 over, $180 over. So nothing that he buys is really cheap anyway.
But what I'm saying is that as a culture, I really think that we need to stop putting so much importance in how much something costs and take those finances and invest it and start, instead of just buying these shoes. You got them flying roaches over there. So instead of buying these shoes.
Yeah, and I'm about to roast you on here. Don't take me there. Don't do it. I will embarrass you in front of Facebook Live. Don't play with me. Better keep talking.
We will just have a show or do a roast session because I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
I'm ready for you. Because I hit below the belt when I
yeah, me too.
I don't think you're gonna be able to take it.
Okay, well, back to the show.
Back to the show.
Anyway,
I'm the HBIC on this show. You always remember that.
Yes, ma'am. It's your show. But I'm the star of the show. AB is what they call me. Anyway, so no, I just think we need to find something else to do with our money and like, if you see other cultures around town and they take their finances, they put them together. You see the Asian people. You see and when I say Asian people, that means the Indians, the Chinese, and all the people in Asia that put their money in. They have whole shopping centers and stuff. And it seems like our importance is on, okay, I'm gonna kill them today. I'm gonna put these Jordans on, and then the market's so flooded. You go out there and everybody got on the same.
I think, Aaron. To answer that question, I think that some people can afford it. I think that some people spend their last on it. As far as culture of Black people getting together and forming a business together, I will say, and I would just say in people that I know, a lot of people are not business savvy. A lot of people like to go to work, clock in, and go home. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are not willing to take the risk that I'll talk about myself, that I'm willing to take. I quit my jobs to go hustle on the side, but to go start a business. A lot of people not willing to take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to leave a job that I know for a fact I'm getting a check every other week on, to not getting a check at all, to getting that, having to hustle my bill money because I have a goal that's greater than clocking in for these folks. Everybody don't have that mentality. So when you hang with a group of people whose mentality is not of that, or you can't find a group of women who are like that, then you can't. A lot of times you don't want to go in business with people that you really don't know, because you don't know them. You don't know how they handle business. Then you do see people going to business together. People bamboozle people out of businesses. They steal from people. They take businesses from under people, or they just don't get along. And then the people falls out, which is what we have seen in our Black community happen. And the reason why people try to go solo and start their businesses to themselves. I believe that we got a lot of Black people in this city that we could build a Black Wall Street.
Yes.
I see a lot of people that are very creative, especially when the pandemic came. I saw so many people come out with skills I couldn't believe. And these are people you see on a day-to-day basis. You saw people start making plates. People were cooking, showing their cooking skills. People were baking. People were doing hair. People had just came out and started really showing all the skills that they had, that they can make money with their own hands. They didn't have to go clock in at these folks' jobs. They didn't have to get told when they can and can't take off and got to lie and call in to work and say they don't feel well today because they want to go on vacation with their friends. People start saying, you know what? The pandemic put people in a bind. It scared people a little bit. Mm-hmm. People started losing stuff. So people start getting creative, like, oh, I can make this, or oh, I can do it, or I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna make mixed drinks, and I'm gonna show TikTok, and I'm gonna get all these likes, and I'm gonna start making money off TikTok, or I'm gonna become an influencer.
Right.
But our culture, our people are, first of all, they're so negative towards each other. When you do anything, you do something and one or two people in the community don't like you and they try to bandwagon other people, then you don't get supported. Or if you're too vocal about something, then people don't support you. Or if you it's just, we just live in such a small community here in Austin to the point where we can't have those type of revenues or those type of business.
But we can. It's just what people got to get beyond the hate.
We can't.
You can't support and uplift people. I mean, it's got to change the mentality. We have to.
Aaron, Black people, let me tell you something. Martin Luther King.
But we can use this platform right now that you have to encourage people.
Let me tell you something. I've been a business owner since I was 17 years old. Before people had moonwalks and before people had all this party stuff, popcorn machine, inflatable, I was doing that when I was 17. When I was 18, 19, I had vending machines. When I done been in business all across the board. Mm-hmm. You think anybody tried to come and help me in this community? When I started this girls group, you think anybody tried to come and say, you know what, Michelle, we see these girls wilding out. We see these girls having baby at 15s, riding the bus. You think anybody tried to lend a hand with me? When I would ask people to make calls for me, make a flyer for me, people was too busy. But if I call somebody and say, let's go have a drink, or let's go to happy hour, everybody's down. Nobody really want to get their hands dirty for this community. And I said that on this platform. Nobody in Austin, Texas that I know want to get their hands dirty. Everybody want to talk about what's going on. But when it's time to get on your knees and get your hands dirty and blood, sweat, and tears and get them scars on your knees, ain't nobody willing to do that. They don't have time.
But let's just say this. Let's not say everybody, because that's a blanket statement, and I don't think
I will say, I'm speaking for myself because I've been out here. I'm not gonna say every single person,
because I've met some people that are 85%,
but at least 85% of the people that I have run into.
Then you got to change your circle. And I can introduce you to some of my people, some of my friends in a different circle.
And then I'm gonna tell you this
that
too.
are proactive and that are trying to do more things like that. But
I'm gonna tell you too about a lot of people too. They want to be the chief. Nobody wants to be behind the scenes. Everybody want to be the spotlight of something. That's why I had to go into public speaking and doing speaking engagements, because when I tried to form the organization to go back into our hood, these colony parks, these lakesides, these Springdale Gardens, these Mesa Manas, you think anybody want to go over there and talk to those people? No. Ain't nobody getting up on a Saturday after they've been out on Friday night or spend their Saturday afternoon wanting to go help these people in the projects. Trying to do it.
I know some people.
I could get some white people to help me before I can get some black people. Straight up.
I wouldn't go that far to say that, because I know some black people who are ready and eager to do it.
Well, I tell you what. You know me. You hook them up with me and let me see how they'll help me with my organization.
Okay, and I'm there to help you too. Let me know what it is. So let me get back to these tips so we'll finish up. Number 4 is understanding your salary difference.
Okay, Brittany, I'm gonna get with you too, as well. Brittany, I'm reading her message. I'm gonna get with her too.
And then number 5, purchases in the open. When you have a significant other, wife, husband, that go and make purchases in secret, and sneaking stuff in the house, going out, getting credit cards, putting jewelry or whatever you got on, and you don't let your spouse know. I think it's important that when it comes to spending and financing a relationship, that you have to be transparent, and that they need to be aware of what you're spending and how you spend it. Now, if it's and I understand that everybody has their own account, and some people choose it to be that way, but I think it helps the relationship when you're transparent. Number 6, set money expectations together. What you expect to accomplish with the money that y'all do have and save, and which direction you want to do. Say, like, if you live in a house and you want to move to another house, or you want to upgrade, what are the expectations that, we work every day. So when you're working every day, I think we need to think about always, like you were talking about, growing in the business, growing your household. And you don't want to necessarily stay in this house all your life. You want to upgrade some. So share those money expectations with your significant other, spouse, whatever. Also, number 7, the last one, is your kids. Don't let your kids run the show when it comes to money. And I know a lot of us out there want to get our kids the best of everything, and that's a good thing. But also, we need to sit down and teach them how to manage their money. And they should understand the importance of money and teach them how to manage their money. If you have the salary to give them allowance, then give them allowance, but don't allow them to run the show, because you know how sometimes kids can play the parents against each other.
What do you mean? So what do you mean when you say the kids run the show?
Well, meaning, I want the new Jordans, because everybody got it, and then you go out and break your neck. You really don't have it, but you don't want your kid coming home saying, "Oh, little Timmy's crying because everybody else got the Jordans and he don't have it." And then you go out, and even though you might not just have it, you go out and get it, which can cause a little strain or stress in your household because you went and bought these shoes for your child. So that's what I'm saying. Don't run to the. They need to understand your financial limits. You don't have to go in great detail, but my mom would tell me, "Aaron, I can't afford that." So I started working when I was age 16 years old. And the way I got a job, is I was on 12th Street knocking on doors and running, got pulled over. They didn't take me to jail, but I got a ticket for driving no insurance, no headlights, no seatbelt. I ended up getting like an $800 ticket. So the very next morning, we were going to church. My mom told us, "Get up, get your ass up. You going to church." So I got dressed up going to church. Here we are driving. She pulls up to Nelson Field. Everybody know where Nelson Field is, right? She stops the car in the middle of the lane, right in front of Reagan High School, and tell me to get the F out the car. And I was like, "What?" And she looked at it and she said, "Get the F out my car." And I'm like, "What?" She said, "If I have to get out this car and pull you out, get out my car. I got out the car. I got out the car. She rolled down the window and she looked at me. She said, "Don't come home until you find a job." Rolled the window up and left me right there.
Why?
Because she wanted me to learn that nothing in life is free. She wasn't paying that $800 fine and all them.
But okay, so I'm gonna take you back to old school value. That was.
Well, no, let me tell you what happened. So then I went to Foodland. I remember Foodland was there. I went to Apple Tree. I remember it used to be called Apple Tree. I went to Sonic, Whataburger, Brands, and then right across the street from Reagan High School was Mr. Getty's, right next to the pawn shop. I walked in there and there's a lady named Sharon Robinson. I told her my sad story. Man, my hand was hurting because I was handwriting. I didn't hand wrote 10, 15 applications. And I told her my story. She gave me a job on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you how cold my mom is. So I was so excited. I got a job, right? So I asked Sharon, "Hey, can I use your phone to call my mom so I can, so she come pick me up?" And I said, "Mom, I got a job." She said, "Okay." I said, "Well, can you come pick me up?" She said, "No, find your own way home." And I hung up the phone.
Your mama was mean. No wonder you so scared on finance. Your mama that traumatized you.
So then I walked. You
ain't not no money. Your mama that traumatized you.
I had to walk all the way home.
Okay, so this is the thing, but you can't use those values with somebody else and they kids.
No, but that's what I'm saying. My whole point of that story is I've been a hustler and I know the value of money. That's why a lot of people will tell you, my sisters here, both of my sisters here, and any of my family, I'm tight with my money. I'm super tight. My mom said I'm so tight with my money.
Child, listen, you ain't got to tell us. We go out to eat with you every Tuesday. You won't even buy us 85 cents wing. So I know who.
I didn't pay the last 2 times. Don't do that.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, and that's why it was so cool and nice that night. It probably was about to start snowing because you done paid for our dinner and bought us 2 drinks. Hell, we were surprised.
Yeah.
We put us a little money back in case we have to pay your money back.
And
but I think that as far as that, I don't think that you should push those values of yours on your whoever you get with based on what we grew up. We grew up a little different in different times than these kids. I think these kids have way more privilege than we had. I think that's why we are the people that we are today. And as successful as we have been because of our tough love from our parents, but we're in a different time with these kids. These kids are more spoiled. They're a little more hand fed from us. They are coddled a lot. So we have to approach these kids different. And I think that if you meet somebody and they do have children, that needs to be a conversation on how you raised your kids before you guys met and the things that you allowed your kids to have and the things you bought your kids. Because I think kids situations can be really sticky. A lot of kids, people dress their kids very well, very nice. And I believe that they will want to continue to do that even if they met somebody. And, somebody who is saying, well, you shouldn't do this for your kids or you shouldn't do that. I think that the people that I know, I don't think that they are not in a financial place to where they couldn't buy their kids certain things. My kids growing up, I bought my kids name brand stuff, but my kids were not materialistic. I'm not a materialistic person. It is certain things that I will not do. I never forget, and Carrie, she's on here watching. She probably can attest to this. I had totaled my Infiniti, and everybody know I love luxury cars, Mercedes especially because my mother has drove Mercedes her whole life. So it's just I just love a Mercedes, and I wanted to buy a car from her husband, and she was like, "No, he didn't want to sell me the car." And everybody knows that I love luxury cars, so they was like, You know, he didn't want to sell me the car because they kind of knew that that wasn't the kind of car I wanted. I was just kind of trying to settle for something at the moment because I was trying to hurry up to get a car because my car was totaled out before I went to buy a new one. So I have this thing with luxury cars. I love luxury cars. I had a Honda for a minute, and I immediately got rid of the Honda because I don't drive Honda. Um, it's nothing materialistic. I used to drive a Honda back in the day.
I drive a Honda.
I think Hondas are nice. I don't have nothing bad to say about them.
Mhm.
But I just like a certain type of car, and I feel like I work hard enough to be able to do that. But I think that when it comes to finances, I think that it just needs to be an understanding situation between the two people who are getting together, and nobody should try to overstep anybody's boundaries if the bills are being paid. Like I said, my husband buy himself nice stuff all the time. Um, and I don't say anything because he doesn't miss a beat at his home with his bills. So I feel like he works day in and day out. He leaves here at 7:30 in the morning. He don't come home to 10 some nights. And I feel like he deserves to buy himself things like that if he wants to. So I think it's a fine line on relationship and finances, on how you know that fits with each person. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and with that being said, you're absolutely right. I think it's just when it comes to finances, you have to be transparent and willing to compromise uh,
Mhm.
with the finances because finances is the number one uh, reason people get divorced. Um,
Absolutely.
and I just think if you want to have a healthy relationship, to discuss the finances. I mean, I've been in some situations when it comes to money, and when the money ain't there, the love go with it too.
And that should not happen. That
'Cause-
should not, because, and then you got to look at it too like this too, Aaron. I remember my mom told me this years ago, because my whole thing was I ain't mean no man who don't do this for me, and I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that, and I'm rolling my neck. And my mama said, well, you shouldn't look at it in a negative way. What if your husband got something happened to him where he couldn't work? Or how would you handle the finances then? It don't always have to be this way or that way. Or, you all, to me, when finances come up, it should be where if anything happened to the other person can take on anything.
right.
So you know, I think that that should really be the main factor in why it should be discussed, why savings should be discussed. Because, like we saw with the pandemic, people started losing their jobs left and right. Companies started shutting down, and everybody was frantic. Everybody was running around trying to figure life out and, oh, what was going to happen next? And people were scared because people didn't have money saved up. So I don't think that the talk of the finances should be a problem. It should be for the better too, because anything could happen to us. We're not guaranteed to be walking tomorrow. Anything could happen. We can be talking today, and tomorrow we could be in a coma, or we could be somewhere to where our spouse would have to take on a COBRA insurance, or would have to pay all the bills that your car know, my car know, both of our car insurance, the mortgage, lights, water, whatever is going. So it is very important to discuss. It is very important to save, um, not just because the other person told you, just for pandemic reasons. I mean, like I said, the pandemic was a prime example of why we should save money.
Mhm.
Um, so many people lost houses, so many people lost jobs. Nobody had money saved up. It was really sad to see what had happened. So I think even with that going on, even just on a regular day, finances should be talked about.
Oh, yeah,
I
that finances should be talked about daily.
Period. I mean, you ain't got to just be talking about them every day, pulling at your notebook. But I think that if you see some things that may be getting a little out of hand, maybe you can discuss them. But I think overall, everybody needs to be in charge of their own finances, should be financially responsible, responsible for their own finances, and then bringing those together in their household and figuring out what's best for the both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Both
As
bringing
a
to
whole
the
and
table.
as a unit together, regardless of who makes the most, who makes the less. At the end of the day,
When it's,
it really has to be discussed because it's important. You know what
yeah,
I
it's
mean?
a team,
So
it's a joint effort.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
money, that dollar bill, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So what do y'all think? Do y'all agree? You know, money, finances. Do y'all think that it is something that really needs to be talked about before you intertwine your lives with another person? Um, what do you
What I
guys?
was going to say earlier when you were talking about Target, my cousin Tennille, she's addicted to Target, boy. She always in that Target.
But she worked. She
I
worked.
know it's
You
some,
know
but
what I
anyway,
mean?
I'm just trying to understand what do y'all women love about Target? Yeah, y'all love Target.
Baby, that is Tarjay's. You are
Is it?
saying it wrong.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
We are
Target.
bougie when we go to Target, okay? But yeah. So let's see.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
look
I
at
think
some of
that
these
I'm
comments.
looking at some of the yes, Tree say finances are a major reason for divorce. They are absolutely a major reason for divorce. Absolutely. Trees, they absolutely are. And it's sad because, really two incomes are better than one. You can get so much more done when you are sharing finances with someone or splitting them or however you want to say
Hmm.
it. It is you know it's better together, you know
Yeah,
what I mean, when it comes to finances. And I think it is a very, very important part of a relationship, whether you're cohabitating together or whether you are joined together in marriage. It is very important to discuss. If you have bad finances, maybe the person that you're getting with finances is better than yours and they can help you out. Maybe you can take some financial classes at these banks. At your bank, they have financial advisors. They can look at how much money you bringing in, how much money you spending out. And I have a little system that I've talked about before, with even with my credit, is that I have a entertainment fund. I have an envelope that I put $300 in, and I dig out of that $300 for the month. And if that $300 gets spent up,
you don't do nothing else after that.
nope, I can't afford it. I'm not working. I can't spend all my husband money. You know what I'm saying? I have to be mindful that
Some of y'all women will.
right, I have to be mindful that he is the only one full-time working here because he's allowed me to start a business. The business hasn't started yet, so it's no revenue being made there. So I can't just be like, oh, well, he's working, let me spend his money. I have to be mindful of the money that's coming in because right now it's only one income. With me partially doing work here and there, but it's not enough to sustain anything at
Right.
this point. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had a very large amount of savings, but you don't want to swipe at your savings either.
No.
Especially trying to start a business, trying to, do this and do that. And he, has allowed me to do that. So I'm very mindful of him when it comes to that. So
Brittany,
I
Brittany
agree
put on
with her.
there. She said it's probably a good idea to check in every 3 months, 3 months or so to make sure the finances are good and it's not more of a burden to one person over the other.
I agree,
I
Brendan.
agree
I
with that.
agree. And that's why I was just telling Aaron that, I try to be mindful that my husband has allowed me to stop working full time, even part time. I really only work PRN, which is probably not a lot because people come to work. So I try to be mindful of his income, and that he's the only one really bringing in the money at this point, and I'm not. Uh, I'm looking to bring in a substantial amount of money in the future, but um, right now I'm not. So I try to take that Susie Vasquez said, definitely a good idea to just communicate about all finances and make sure you both are on the same page. I see sometimes money can be the devil. Susie, you are exactly correct. It can be.
That's
They
why I
say
was talking about being transparent.
yes, and I think transparency is the best thing, and especially with finances because you need money to pay bills. And if you're just overspending or you're being, just bad with money and the other person is having to dish out more money due to you not being good or just making foolish purchases, then it is going to affect the other person because they're going to feel some type of way. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
You be willing to compromise, understanding spirit that look, right now we just can't do this. And
Yeah.
and when you go out, like I said, like purchases need to be in the open because it can stress out the relationship. You have to. The number one goal in these finances and relationship is conserving and and keeping your relationship together by talking about these finances, because if you don't, it will tear the whole thing down.
Yeah.
And money is like I said, money is the root of all evil. And so don't
I think the way people spend it may be the
be
root
the
of it.
root of your, yeah.
Uh, you know, I think money is a blessing. I think, it could bless. We've seen it bless people to some great heights, and then we've seen it being the ruin of a lot of people too. So I think that just being mindful altogether when whether you're in business, whether it's a relationship, whether whatever it is, that you have to be mindful of the person that you are um, coming together with as far as those finances.
Let me ask you one quick question before we go, because I know it's getting short on time. But you're in
Yes.
the credit business. So
Hmm.
as a person who does credit and helps people clean up their credit and do all that, do credit classes, when it comes to dating, how is important is it for you, if you're getting very serious with someone, to know what their credit score is? What do you think about that? Is that information that should be shared?
I don't think I've never asked anyone about their credit. I mean, we just begin with people, child. We don't know what their credit look like till
Yeah,
it's time to go buy
but
something. You be like,
but
oh, we can't get nothing.
but what
But
I'm
I never
saying, you've reviewed credit and you've looked at
will.
people's credit. Important is for you to know about that your significant other's credit before you really
I think
do.
it's very important. Now
Mhm,
that I'm into credit, I
mhm,
believe that it is very, very important to know somebody's credit. Because what if you get with them and you're ready to go buy something and then y'all go get your credit ran to buy a house and this person now y'all gotta wait 6 or 7, 8 months for them to get their credit together before you even start, then you might be like, okay, he holding me back or she holding me back of things that I could go do on my own. I think that credit is just important overall. I
mhm.
mean, just singly, credit is important. It could save you so much money when you go to purchase a car, credit cards. Credit can put you in a gate that some people can't get in, and credit can take you somewhere that people with cash money can't go. You know what I mean? Because some credit can be unlimited. We ain't got unlimited cash flow. We ain't got money just falling out the sky on us. But we got people who got credit with no ending on it.
Mhm.
It ain't you got 25,000, 50,000, 10. Some people it's the line is open. You know what I mean? So I think that is something that is not discussed when people meet because so many other things are in the forefront when we meet people that we don't discuss the most important things that are the things that turn around and tear us apart once we get into the relationship. So I think that credit is very important. I think when you're dating somebody, when you watch how they move with their money, are they always buying stuff? Do they got to get every single thing they see? Do they got See, I'm skeptical of people like that. When I see somebody every time you turn around, they got to spend money. They got to buy this. They got to buy this. They got to buy that. They got to do. I be like, Hold on, because if anything drastic happened to you, you're gonna be homeless.
My homeboy
You
Gerald
don't have
said,
no money. You're not
my
gonna have
homeboy,
the money. Like you're going to,
right,
and then if your credit bad, you're not gonna be able to go borrow money from nobody because your credit is bad. So you're gonna put yourself in a tight position. So when I date people, I didn't never ask about their credit, but I watched how they move. You know
right,
what I mean? Me, I look at people assets when I get with them. What kind of car they drive? People like, oh, that's real petty. Because to me, and this is just to me, y'all, this is my opinion. When I see people driving hoopties and stuff like that, that's kind of like a little red flag for me, because that it could be two things. You could drive a hoopty because you're saving your money, or
right.
you could drive a hoopty because you ain't got no money. So I straddled the fence with that, because then I start digging deep on why you driving this hoopty car. Because 9 times out of 10, the car is something that you really truly need. You needed to get back and forth to work. You needed to go find a job if you need a job. And then, your car breaking down, so to me, a car is something that's very important. Your living status. I start watching all those things. To me, talks about people finance. When I start finding that you borrow money from somebody, or you owe people money, or I'm like, So yeah, I think that getting into a relationship, I think finances, credit, money, how you spend is very important, because it is the one thing that tears relationships apart.
Gerald said that credit should not interfere with love. What you think about that?
Credit can be repaired. People
Yeah.
do it all day. I don't think that credit should interfere with love, but I think that if your credit is bad and you meet someone and they have excellent credit, they are going to want you to start working on that. And I think that if you want to go into a partnership with them, then it's something that you need to take into consideration and really look into why credit is so important to this person, and why credit is important, period. I don't think that it should overstep love, but it's probably right up there with breathing. I think it's up
I'm
there
gonna
with
tell you right now, if it comes to dealing with a,
oxygen.
if it comes to, I'm gonna tell you right now, it comes to dealing with a woman. If we go out on a date and say I'm walking to your car and I see that your sticker out, and your sticker done been out for about 12 months, 16, 2 years, yeah, that's a red flag for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's some
I
stuff
mean, to
that's,
me, that shows no responsibility. If you're riding around with expired tags 12 months, mm-mm. First of all, you can get a then to me, then that's bad financial. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Because
a
if you
clue.
riding around with your tags out and it's 12 months, that means you could get a ticket, which is going to cost you more money,
Mhm.
which means you're not carrying insurance on your car, which is why you have not gotten your sticker, maybe, or your car have not passed inspection and you can't get it fixed. To me, those are all that got goes back to having them bad finances. You missing something somewhere in there. So
Mhm.
that kind of will throw a red flag for me. Uh Letitia said, I worked with a Caucasian man that drove an old bug, but he did have money and made sure his wife drove the newer car. But he brought his lunch every day and was frugal. He was also an account. Yes. Now I say that about how people dress. We looked at Steve Jobs. He very rich, but you couldn't tell by his outfits. You
No.
know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you what I learned about some of them outfits, because my husband bought some of them shoes. What do they call?
Crocs.
No, they look dirty.
The shoes look dirty.
Caucasian people wear them.
Kids.
No, they real expensive. They called somebody. Y'all tell me what they called.
Oh, uh,
Oh, I cannot think of the name of, but they are super expensive. They look like they dingy a little bit, maybe like you just scraped your shoe on the sidewalk. I can't. But anyway, stocks, Susie. I'm not sure. I can't. Oh, I cannot. Not Birkenstocks trees. Y'all, I'm telling you, if y'all tune in next week, I'm gonna find the name of them shoes. And if I could get up off here now and go run there and look through them boxes, I would tell you. But um, oh, it's gonna come to me, y'all. I cannot think of the name
Let
of
me
them.
read some of these comments real quick. Amy Plummer said, I think that if we knew better, we would do better. I feel like
Golden Goose. Yes, yes, yes,
Golden
Kay Johnson. Golden Goose. Let me tell you something. Them some little expensive shoes.
I'm gonna have to go get me
But
some.
they look like come from Goodwill or something. I don't know. But they expensive and they sell them at the Domain. And they just expensive shoes, Golden Goose. They expensive. But so, I mean, I'm not saying that people who drive old cars, because I drive an old Lexus. I mean, I have a Mercedes, but the Lexus I love, I drive it more than the Mercedes. Every time you see me, I'm going, and it ain't got no shocks on it. So I be like the Hispanic people back in the day when they had hydraulics.
Yeah.
Baby, I don't care. I be going down 290. Child, my car be just bouncing because I'm too cheap to get the shocks done. But I be rolling, yeah. And then it takes about 15 minutes for the AC to pump up because it's a 2008. But I love that car. Listen, I roll everywhere in that car. If I thought that it would hold up for a long time, I would sell that Mercedes and my Mercedes is a 2018 and it only got like 20,000 miles on it.
It's clean.
So,
I like
but I would say if I thought that Lexus would hold on, I would sell it.
Invest some of that money you done saved into it.
You know what? No. Because I didn't put enough money into it. So I ain't finna play with it like that no more. But I said all that to say, yes, credit is important. Financial situation should be good when you get into a relationship with somebody, because you don't want to bring your financial problems over to somebody else and then that becomes a burden on them. So I think that if you are talking about getting into a relationship with somebody, you should check your finances. It should be something discussed on how people spend money. You should really watch when you're going out on dates, how do these people spend? And I think that if you do that, I think that you would have a good relationship.
Especially if somebody trying to live outside their means. Amy Plummer put, I think that is, if we knew better, we would do better. If I feel like we're not educated to invest or understand money, social media is part of it too.
Yeah.
Ebony said, facts, 2 incomes are better than 1.
Yeah.
Carrie Williams said, Jordan is already rich. Brittany said, got to change your circle. I know a lot of successful Black owners. Definitely a good idea to just communicate about finances. Make sure you both are on the same page. I see sometimes that money can be the devil.
Yeah. Carrie Williams said, team 2 incomes all day. Ebony say facts, 2 incomes are better than 1. Yep.
Tennille, joint account and separate savings.
Yeah. So I think all of it is good. I think to each his own. I think my advice for everyone is to work on your credit, get your finances together, especially if you want to be in a relationship with somebody. Nobody wants to get into a relationship with somebody with bad finances.
No, because it's you start in a hole.
Yeah, it's just irresponsible. It's irresponsible for you to have bad finances, but we understand that life does happen to people. We're not exempt from things happening to where we may have to wash out our bank accounts, and we may have to do that. And then just for other reasons, if you get with somebody, your spouse could fall ill. Your spouse could lose his job and may not be able to find a job for a few months. So you want to be able to sustain your household until your spouse, whether it's a man or the woman that loses the job or fall ill, you want to be able to still live how you were living before either person fell, however they fell. And you want to be able to sustain that lifestyle still. So I believe that it is very important. I think that it is something that should be talked about during the dating process. And I will throw this out there before we leave tonight, y'all. It is a lot of things that we need to start discussing before we get with somebody. not just looking at the physical, not just listening to the talk, because as my friend Carrie would say, a pair of lips will say anything. You got to start observing these people before you waste your time getting into these situationships, and then they don't work based off of these topics that we have talked about today. You know, we understand that everybody don't come in with a lot of money. We understand that those things can grow. It's so much money out here to be made. So I'm not saying that you should just not talk to somebody because they are this way. But once you talk to them and you see that they're not listening, or that they don't want to grow, or they don't want to take the advice, and it depends on how you deliver it too, that maybe that person is not for you, because you can already see that maybe if you get into this, the finances will be bad. Um, and then and Letitia said, it can also make you feel like you become a parental figure in the relationship when you only have the one financially responsible partner. And that's true too. You don't want to have to feel like you're nobody's parent telling them what to do with their finances. And sometimes you can lead by example just during the friendship and y'all talking. And then when you see they haven't caught on, maybe it's something that you should take into consideration and say, at my age, I don't want to get into a bad financial situation. And I have the right to allow myself not to do that. So we will just continue being friends, and we can move forward with our friendship. But that isn't going to go any further because your finances is not as important to you as mine is to me. And I don't want to have to come in and start taking over somebody else's finances or their bills because they're making bad decisions.
Right.
Their money.
I don't want you to feel like you being a child, you know.
Yes, it is. Lisa Fletcher said it's great. It's a great idea to talk about money. And it is. It is. A lot of times we just don't get into those conversations because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. And it's really not hurting people's feelings. We have to learn to be mature about these conversations that we have, because they're hard conversations that people don't like to have, because people don't want people to not talk to them or feel some type of way about them. But it's going to be a hard conversation that you're going to have if you go ahead and get with them. And then it's going to be an ugly situation. Then you're going to divorce, and you're going to be saying who owes this and who do this. And it's just going to. So before you jump into those situations with relationships and finances, talk about it first. And know that you don't have to jump into anything with somebody if they're not in the financial situation that you feel is best fit for where you're going in life. So I will leave y'all with that. It should be talked about. It is something that is very, very important, because we are getting up in age and we should have good finances. So I will leave y'all with that. I think it should be talked about. Aaron, what about you?
I just want to say on this podcast, what we're trying to do is to bring real life issues to the audience to help me, help you, help us, help everyone out there to have an open forum where we can discuss these issues. Finance is a real big thing, and especially in this time, especially in Austin, Texas, and surrounding areas, it's expensive. And I know it's getting expensive everywhere else too. But being in a relationship, you got to talk about it. You have to be willing to have the difficult conversation, bring your maturity to the conversation, be willing to be transparent and willing to compromise. And I think everything will work out well. You can only work with what you got. And, and sometimes it's not a lot, but that little amount, you got to make it, you got to stretch it out. You got to make it work.
I agree. So y'all, tonight that will conclude this show. I want you guys to, like I said, keep in mind that is important, and don't ever let nobody veer you away from talking about that when you meet them. It is important. Your finances is important. That is how you live your life. So thank you guys for joining in tonight. We appreciate all the feedback, all the comments. We love y'all.
Love the comments.
Appreciate y'all for joining in every Tuesday. I know that y'all, it's a lot every Tuesday because it's a lot for me, to be trying to come up with topics, try to hear Erica ideas, people inboxing me, commenting, texting me ideas, and we appreciate any ideas that y'all want to talk about. Please, please let us know. Thank all my people on YouTube for watching. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all too. Guys, please tune in next week. We will be talking about exes. Is it okay for exes to still come around your family if you guys are not together anymore? So next week, Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., we will be talking about exes. Is it okay for your family to invite your exes over? Is it okay for your exes to still come around? Should they or shouldn't they after the relationship is over?
Do
I
y'all
think
have
that is
kids?
going to be a great topic. Y'all save it all for next week. We will see y'all next week, 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube page. Please share this, y'all. Share this,
Sure.
share. Catch us next week. Here's 7:30, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We also are on Spotify as well. We have to load up our content on there because they have not streamed yet. So thank you all for joining. We love you guys. We see you guys next week.